Welcome to Mediocre Main Character. I'm playing Matches Matrimony, a Pride and Prejudice tale. This marriage sim, based on the works of Jane Austen, has 9 possible endings. So join me as I jump into the Darcy ending, the final, crowning glory of the game. In case you haven't followed any of my other playthroughs, we're playing as one of the Bennet sisters. And for the Darcy edition, we just need to embody Elizabeth Bennet. I'm going to skip through all of the conversations that we've already seen in my various playthroughs, but I'll summarize as I go. So let's jump in. Here we meet Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, the matriarch and patriarch of our little family. The objective of this game is to build up your stats so you're a well-rounded Regency-Era woman. In Elizabeth's case, she's a book nerd, so I'm just gonna build up all her reading and she can study the arts on the last day. Go. Okay, we're off to a ball. So, this is the day where we meet Mr. Bingley, a rich young man from the north of England. He's in town with his 2 sisters and another young man. Mr. Bingley is good looking and gentlemanlike. These are his sisters. Let's just say that he's the nice one in the family. And this is his friend, Mr. Darcy, who soon drew the attention of the room by his fine, tall person, handsome features, and the report, which was in circulation within 5 minutes of his entrance, of his having an income of £10,000 a year. The man's a billionaire. Okay. So, Mr. Bingley is already quite taken by our older sister Jane, who is quite the beauty. And we're catching up with our best friend Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte's a little past her prime for that time period. And she is looking to lock down a guy, just ASAP, you know? And this is her take on marriage. She's like, it really doesn't matter if you know your husband or not. You just get married to whomever and you figure it out as you go. And we're going to be nice to our friend and not suggest that she's bitter because she's old. Well, Charlotte, keep a stiff upper lip, honey. The scarcity of gentlemen had forced many of the ladies to spend more time sitting than they would have wished. While sitting, I saw and was close enough to overhear a conversation between Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley. Come, Darcy, I must have you dance. I hate to see you standing about by yourself in this stupid manner. See, we're no longer pursuing Mr. Bingley, so he can sound like a doofus. It's fine. You had much better dance. I certainly shall not. You know how I detest it, unless I'm particularly acquainted with my partner. At such an assembly as this, it would be insupportable. Your sisters are engaged, and there's not another woman in the room whom it would not be a punishment for me to dance with. What a douche. Of course, Mr. Bingley always sees the best in everything, and he's like, everyone's so much fun. I love it here. And Mr. Darcy's like, ugh, you are dancing with the only handsome girl in the room. But one of her sisters is sitting right behind you. She's very pretty. He's talking about us. So he takes one look at us and says, she's tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me. I'm in no humor at present to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men. Yeah, thanks, bro. He thinks that we're the reject pile, and he's like, ew, I'd rather not. Mr. Darcy doesn't give a damn about us. Tolerable? Slighted by other men? Ugh. But you know what? We're taking it on the chin. We're just gonna laugh it off. I really don't want to talk to you. I saw the anger in the eyes of Mr. Bingley's sisters. Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm kind enough, thank you very much, but Mr. Bingley's sisters don't deserve it. Yeah, we don't like Mr. Darcy right now. And that's the week. We move on to chapter 2. In this chapter, our sister falls sick over at Netherfield, and and has to stay over, so we head to Mr. Bingley's manor to keep her company. We're not looking forward to seeing Mr. Darcy. Longbourn is not too far from Netherfield, so... How do you find your sister? It's only a cold, she'll be fine, Bingley. As Mr. Bingley walked away, I took the opportunity to look at his library. Oh, great. Hi, Darcy. Do you prefer reading to cards? Well, yeah. I don't want to play with Mr. Bingley's sisters, so I'll do anything but that. No, thank you. Miss Mediocre Bennet despises cards. She's a great reader and has no pleasure in anything else. Leave us alone. You don't know me, okay? I deserve neither such praise nor such censure. I'm not a great reader and I have pleasure in many things. That's right. Shut up. I'm sure you have pleasure in nursing your sister, for example. Thanks, Bingley. You're so nice. Why are your sisters so evil? Like, I don't get it. I wish my collection were larger for your benefit. Oh, don't worry, Bingley. I'm fine. I always carry this little ratty book with me everywhere. Oh, Mr. Darcy, I should not think that watching me read should make such an interesting subject. I apologize. I was lost in thought. My gaze was not intently directed at you, Miss Mediocre. Yeah, right. You're staring at us. Poke fun at. Mr. Bingley's sisters, who were nosy AF, immediately joined in at my remark. Miss Mediocre, as your new acquaintance, I shall tell you that Mr. Darcy is not a man to be exposed to laughter. Oh, she's laying it on really thick. You can't tease the calmness of a manner or make fun of presence of mind. Darcy's just too perfect. Are you kidding me? We're just being lighthearted and tongue-in-cheek. Miss Bingley has given me more credit than can be rightly attributed. The wisest and best of men can be rendered ridiculous by a person whose first object in life is a joke. Wow, lighten up, Darcy. Certainly there's such people, but I hope I'm not one of them. I would hope that I'd never ridicule what is wise and good. Yeah, okay. He is basically telling us he's a stick in the mud and he doesn't have a sense of humor. Vanity is a weakness indeed, but pride will always be under good regulation. I'm perfectly convinced by it that Mr. Darcy has no defect. No, I have made no such pretension. I have faults, but they are not, I hope, of understanding. Okay, at least he's owning up that he's got a bad temper. You know, he's resentful. I'm not going to find fault in that, Mr. Darcy, because you've got a lot worse traits than you know, sir. A natural defect which not even the best education can overcome. Your defect is to hate everybody, and yours is willfully to misunderstand them. Yeah, we're at an impasse. We're just reading, and then we started to listen in. Oh, talking about Mr. Darcy's estate. It has been the work of many generations. Darcy's a book nerd? Love that. Love that for us. Speaking of beauties, how's your sister? Is Miss Darcy much grown up since spring? Will she be as tall as I am? Okay. She's our height or taller. That means he noticed us. Her performance on the pianoforte is exquisite. Yeah, Bingley, I'm with you. Women of that time were extremely accomplished. Like, they're good at everything. Yeah, they paint tables, cover screens, and net purses. I scarcely know anyone who can't do all this. And I'm sure I've never heard of a young lady spoken of for the first time without being informed she was very accomplished. Wow, Mr. Darcy is so annoying. He's like an incel. He's like, oh, those are not traits of accomplishment. I'm very far from agreeing with your estimation of ladies. I cannot boast of knowing more than half a dozen in the whole range of my acquaintance that are really accomplished. Mr. Darcy, you expect too much. You must expect a great deal in your idea of an accomplished woman. Yes, I do. Wow. He's saying he has high standards, honey. Okay, a woman must have thorough knowledge of music, singing, drawing, dancing, and the modern languages to deserve the world. And besides all this, she must possess a certain something in her air and manner of walking, the tone of her voice, her address, and expressions. Huh. Then something extra. Mr. Darcy's like, that's cute, hun. I want my girl to do all those things, and she must always want to improve her mind by extensive reading. Well, say less, Darcy, because that's all we do. I disagree. Great comeback. Mr. Darcy, I'm no longer surprised at your knowing only 6 accomplished women. I rather wonder now at you knowing any. He appeared as though he were in fact surprised, more than upset by my disagreement and forceful interjection. We gotta keep it real, okay? That's the Elizabeth Bennet edition. Chapter 3. Elizabeth Bennet is a walking, talking ball of willpower and wit. Well, the only way she can build up her willpower and wit is to keep reading. Then study the arts a little bit, and maybe go visiting. Oh God, I'm having PTSD. This is the chapter where our gross cousin, Mr. Collins, comes to visit. Skip. Hard skip. That's Mr. Collins. He's obsessed with us. Such a bore, and all he does is talk and talk and talk. And we don't like him, but he's always trying to marry us. Chapter 4. Okay, we're doing pretty well for wit. 50% already. We need more willpower, more talent, kindness. So let's study the arts a bit more and then rest and then go outside. Get that willpower up. Okay, we're off to see our aunt, Lady Lucas, and our cousin slash bestie, Charlotte Lucas, at their place, Lucas Lodge. Okay, our sister's calling us over. And she wants us to meet Mr. Denny from the regiment, her pal. We need to make sure that we're not mean to him because he's going to introduce us to a very interesting character. So here's our pal Charlotte. She's going to ask us to perform a little piece for the soiree. And we're going to play a piece for the party. As I prepared to begin, I looked to see a familiar set of eyes watching me. Hello, Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy, I was sure, had been keeping an eye on me all evening, his very satirical eye giving me little pleasure. Though it wasn't a capital performance, I played well and in a pleasing manner. Well, to our standards, but to Mr. Darcy's standards, I mean, bro has high standards. What are you going to do? Lady Lucas comes by and introduces us to Colonel Brandon. Nice to meet you. You're a music lover too, eh? That's nice. Lady Lucas is a consummate matchmaker. She loves it. So we gotta kind of take it with a pinch of salt. God. Skip, skip, skip. Great. So Colonel Brandon and Mr. Collins have left the scene. Next. Oh. Our eyes met across a crowded room. Had he been watching me the entire time? Perhaps my talented piano had found me more than one new fan. Yeah, we're having a good time, Lady Lucas. Yeah, the sisters are... I'm not going to swear. What about the men of the house? Yeah, they're great. Lady Lucas is like, keep your options open, honey. Go for Bingley, go for Darcy, go for both. And here's your opportunity, Mr. Darcy. Oh, Mr. Darcy, you must allow me to present this young lady to you as a very desirable partner. You cannot refuse to dance, I'm sure, when so much beauty is before you. That's so awkward. Mr. Darcy said that we're not hot enough for him, okay? He already said it. I really don't want to dance with him. No, I'm not dancing with you, Mr. Darcy. But let me save, because I'm always making mistakes in this game. I'm gonna not dance with Mr. Darcy, but let's see what happens if you do. I would be delighted to dance with you, Miss Bennet. Thank you. Lydian's cleared the floor for us, and our dance was fine. Our conversation seemed to lack. Ugh, he's just looking down on us and our aunt's house. What a douche. Yeah, no, we're gonna go back and not dance with him because, first of all, I don't want to dance with him. He was rude to us and he's been consistently rude throughout. So I'm not gonna dance with you, Mr. Darcy. I don't want to give you the pleasure of my company, okay? I object. I entreat you not to think ill of me, but I have not the least intention of dancing this evening. Oh, so actually back in the day, if we blatantly refused an offer, it would be considered very impolite. But Mr. Darcy doesn't take it personally. Honestly, I think that he thinks we're not hot enough for him, and I don't want to dance with someone like that. Sorry. In fact, I would say that Mr. Darcy seemed positively surprised that we would not take the opportunity to dance with him. Yeah, I might be one of the few gals out here who doesn't want your money or your title or you. Okay, let's check in on our suitors. I'm not even gonna check on Mr. Collins. Mr. Darcy really likes us. Damn. Okay, whatever we've been doing so far is working. Mr. Darcy likes us. Like, he's not in love with us, but he likes us. And the game doesn't say, Mr. Darcy likes you more. So it's a bit of a mystery. Okay, chapter 5. We need to turn down that creep Mr. Collins later, so we need to really focus on our willpower. I'm going to go outside, rest, and then read, baby. Oh, right. Okay, so this is the chapter where we go to town. Our sister is obsessed with military men, so she's dying to see who's out and about in Meryton. Let's go. So we're shopping with our sister when we see Mr. Denny from the party the other day. Good day, Mr. Denny. Oh, let me introduce you to our newest officer, George Wickeby. And he was certainly a welcome introduction, because hubba hubba, the guy's a certified hottie. Ladies, it's a pleasure to meet you at last. Mr. Denny has spoken very highly of you. Calm down. Our character is so thirsty for him. Excellent. So we're all getting along when... Oh, Bingley's here. Hi, Bingley. Mr. Bingley was not alone. As in times past, he was accompanied by Mr. Darcy, who took particular notice at the mention of Mr. Wickeby's name. Though I believe I was the only one who witnessed it, there was a clear moment of acknowledgement between Mr. Darcy and Mr. Wickeby. Mr. Darcy blanked him. So Mr. Bingley lets it slip that he's planning on having a ball at Netherfield, and he's invited everybody, including the officers. Spends a couple of minutes checking in on our sister, and we put in a little good word for her. So all that going out has helped us increase our willpower, but we still need more wit, talent, kindness. Okay, so now we're preparing for the Netherfield ball, but we have absolutely nothing to wear. So because our character's crushing on Wickeby just because he's hot, we spend a little extra time getting ready, and lo and behold, we've run into them. So Lydian is going dress shopping with Mr. Denny, leaving us alone to talk. Well, we're curious because we really want to know the tea. We want to know what went down between Darcy and Wickeby. Let's talk about it. Mr. Wickeby is letting it slip that they have history. Yeah, you may well be surprised, Miss Bennet, after seeing the very cold manner of our meeting yesterday. Wickeby is giving us his backstory, that Mr. Darcy isn't a nice guy, and fanning the flames by saying, "Oh, no one likes him here. Everyone's disgusted with his pride. You will not find him favorably spoken of by anyone." Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead, but I'll tell you the backstory. Mr. Wickeby grew up with Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy's father took an interest in the boy and left him an inheritance. But Mr. Darcy disputed the inheritance and didn't let Wickeby get the money. Of course, we believe everything Wickeby says, so we're like, he deserves to be publicly disgraced. Then he talks about Ms. Darcy, who was adorable as a child, but grew up to be just as proud and arrogant as Mr. Darcy. And he just trashes Mr. Darcy even more, and trashes Lady Catherine, which we add more drama to by saying, oh my god, yeah, she sounds awful. Lydiane's back. So, Mr. Denny has asked Lydiane to dance. Mr. Wickeby has not asked us, but we're crushing on him, so we're definitely going to the Netherfield ball hoping to hook up with Wickeby. Okay, so we get home and we tell Jane the whole sordid affair. Jane's too nice to gossip, so she's like, come on, don't jump to conclusions. You never know. But I'm going to blame Mr. Darcy because in this playthrough, I think he's gross. I have prejudice and he has pride. All right, fast forward this entire section. I'm not dancing with you, Mr. Collins. I'm going to dance with Mr. Wickeby. And let's move on to chapter 7. We're doing pretty well with all of our stats. I'm going to just keep on keeping on. Just read. Nerd it up, baby. It's the week of the ball. Our character is dying to dance with Wickeby. But we're blinded by prejudice. The Bingley sisters are trash. So Denny comes and gives us bad news that Mr. Wickeby isn't here. He's not coming. And we're sulking. We're fully upset. We're cussing out Mr. Denny by ignoring him. Mediocre, I'm sorry for you. Don't feel sorry for me. I only feel sorry for him. Yeah, Mr. Wickeby. He was so badly wronged that he couldn't even show up at this party, and he loves parties. Don't let prejudice destroy your evening. Oh, hi, Charlotte. Please, hi. Tell me how's life for you? So Charlotte's telling us that she totally agrees because Mr. Wickeby can't just show up at this party. He's suffered great wrong in the past, and now he's suffering in the present. It was silly to feel so attached to a man I barely knew, yet here we are, hun. This is new. All these playthroughs, we've never even looked in Mr. Darcy's direction, so this is completely new material for me. Miss Bennet, I should like the pleasure of your hand in the next dance. I will. Thank you. What had I said? Being deep in thought, Mr. Darcy had caught me entirely off guard. I had agreed to dance with Mr. Darcy, the very thing I promised myself never to do. You should have stopped me, Charlotte. I dare say you'll find it very agreeable. Are you kidding me? Charlotte, have you not been listening this whole time? Do not wish me such evil. Mediocre, don't be a simpleton. Do not allow your fancy for Mr. Wickeby to make you appear unpleasant in the eyes of a man 10 times his consequence. Regardless of Charlotte's warning, I could not allow myself to think fondly of Mr. Darcy. However, the truth of her statement of his position in society was fully demonstrated as we took our places. The high honor of being asked to stand opposite Mr. Darcy was clearly stated in the amazed looks of our neighbors on the dance floor. Despite the flush of pride I felt as the set began, I quickly found myself in utmost dread. Darcy had not uttered a word and did not appear to have any inclination to do so. Bro, you gotta talk about something. I believe you're right. He barely spoke 5 words. Another moment passed. Second dance of our set began. You have to end this awkward silence. Please, Mr. Darcy, say something. I talked about the dance. Now you talk about the size of the room or the number of couples. That reply will do for the present. Hey, I'm actually proud of our character. We were full on hating him just moments before, but now we're being civil. We're so witty. Do you talk by rule then while you're dancing? Yeah, you have to speak a little bit. Kind of weird to be silent for so long. Do you and your sisters walk off into Meryton? Yeah, we do. In fact, when you met us there the other day, we had just been forming a new acquaintance. He could read between the lines. He knows we're talking about Wickeby. Wow. Mr. Darcy said not a word in response to my thinly veiled accusation. Lady Lucas interrupted her dance. Such very superior dancing is not often seen. It's evident, sir, that you belong to the first circles. Allow me to say, however, that your fair partner does not disgrace you. Desirable event. Oh. Lady Lucas! That's so embarrassing. She's like, you might need to brush off your dancing skills at Jane and Bingley's wedding. Like, that's really awkward. I appeal to Mr. Darcy, but let me not interrupt you, sir. You will not thank me for detaining you from your bewitching converse of your partner. The first of what she said seemed to strike him forcibly, and his eyes were directed with a very serious expression towards Mr. Bingley and Jane. Recovering himself, however, shortly, he turned back to me to continue dancing. Yeah, Mr. Darcy's kind of spooked by the whole Jane and Bingley getting married rumor. You know what? He's asking us about our reading habits. I'm gonna say there's no way we like the same things. I'm sorry that you think so. I replied without considering the question or my own answer. I'm gonna ask him about his immovable opinion. He did say that once his good opinion was lost, it was lost forever. Do you never allow yourself to be blinded by prejudice? May I ask to what these questions tend? Yeah, we're trying to figure you out, Mr. Darcy. Yeah, we've heard so many different things about you. I wish you, Miss Bennet, not to sketch my character at the present moment, as there is reason to fear that the performance would reflect no credit on either. Though the words were kind, they were spoken somewhat coldly. He was clearly dissatisfied, but by what I was not sure, and though the dance continued, his speaking did not. Thanks for asking. Why is he acting so weird? He clearly does not approve of Bingley and Jane, that's for sure. Oh God, Collins, skip through. This is the scene where he goes to introduce himself to Mr. Darcy. And it's a huge social faux pas. And then the Bingley sisters come over and they judge him and we stand up for him and they hate us more and I'm okay with that. The most strange moment of the evening was the dance I had with Mr. Darcy. I cannot make his character out at all and often find his actions quite contradictory. Of course, his manners are no less crossed. So perhaps that provides some piece of consistency to his character. I think this is a really good place to stop for now. Let's just check in on how he feels about us. Mr. Darcy really seems to like us. I'm not sure why. I don't know what we've done, but I'm gonna take it. I'm going to take it and run with it and see you next time for chapter 8.